one of the most magical gardens I know is that of the Geshes. You'll only see Mr. Gesh today on video, but Kurt and Betsy Gesh have a garden worth lusting after. Today's focus on the video though is all about season extension and how to get food earlier in a cold climate and how to get crops that you wouldn't necessarily get just planting outdoors, and how to do it with just making do with what you got. They're not buying fancy things, state-of-the-art greenhouses. They are truly make use of what you have gardeners.
Hey!
Hey, you want this stone? Hey, Rowan, take the stones, put it in the bucket. She's just the right age for this. Go put it in the bucket.
Matt, careful with your step in there. She's borderline. She gets excited and runs for something. So what are these?
Okay, watch.
Just over your broccoli?
You put transplants in, and they were wilted by hot sun, and then they froze. You put just a shingle over it, and it moderates the temperature. You leave it there for 2-3 days, and then it can look at the sun.
Okay.
I have a whole pile of them.
Yeah, I see them over there too.
Just so, if you, yeah, over there's some that we put in on a hot day 2 days ago. I guess.
So what sort of things are in this bed here?
Oh. Where that red thing is, that's the potatoes.
Okay.
Stay out, Rowan.
What is here? That's a good question. There's some poppies. Colored California poppies. There is, these are fine seeds. Those are broccolis. Like this one didn't get enough shade, and look, it's kind of icky. But,
I see corn, but I can't get.
well, you don't have to get them. You got egg for today. Let the other kids get some.
Hey!
Rowan, out on the pathways.
I don't really remember. It's all stuff that needs to just be planted now. So I seeded it, wrapped it in. I had a board. Went to peat on it.
Yeah.
Just in case it got dry, but then it rained.
Matt, could you go with Rowan, please?
I don't know why.
Is that your red boar kale there?
Yeah. And then this is a really nice plant. This is it's a coreopsis that turns orange. Usually they're yellow and a perennial. This one's an annual because you're up in the wrong plant for it.
Okay.
Did you find any there, Mr. Mark? Got two? Okay.
2 quarters.
Good. Then you have to stay off the soil.
Are there carrots underneath or are these pathways?
Carrots are going to go right here.
Okay.
I was gonna help Brian.
And there's nothing there, there's nothing there. There's trees over there with poor germination. It's just awful. There's potatoes here. Oh, this is what I was for people who want this, you wanted to know about seasonal vendors from microphones. This is that stuff called Sun Tough that they use in construction, and I got this from somebody used. Betsy just planted beans there, and this garden you don't ever get beans outside. So I take this and I sticks in for some structure. You have it. Good, you found it.
Wow.
I love.
Take it, guys. Take it,
You
guys.
just make it into the hoop.
Oh, okay, so it kind of forms its own.
It'll form its own. And I just took these little sticks that I got.
And you planted green beans in here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them in my cold frame because it wasn't hot enough for peppers. So I'm hoping that it'll just be enough warmth extra for green beans to do well.
You will get them if you have one of these.
Yeah.
You can plant them up to June 15th or
I
so.
think I can.
But you have to, then you have to fuss them. I put these like will blow over.
Yeah.
If the wind swirls. So I've been using.
That's why your chains are on there?
Hey, off this.
Oh, there's a pizza.
Ham, come on out.
Out.
Rock.
Out you get.
Glass.
I've been using broken fence posts,
Yeah.
electric ones.
Pizza.
They're step-ins, just so that they got the wind can't lift it.
Yeah. Very much just using what you got around.
Always. Once in a while, I buy things now, but I always was so poor before I couldn't afford anything. But now I have money, but I'm used to doing it the cheap way.
Mr. Gash.
Two. The others are for another day. Do you understand it?
How many do you have?
He found more than 2.
You want? Oh, yeah. Close your eyes and throw it.
Give one to Squirrel. Yeah, Squirrel has that.
Good. You should have it. You have a pocket.
So this is just frost cloth here.
Yeah. Oh, this can be rolling.
All right,
Frost
kids.
cloth here. What's under this frost cloth?
Yummy. You have any pockets?
And why this versus like the metal hoops?
Metal hoops take too much work for me. These I just pile in the old shed.
Okay.
And I take the whole thing and I cover it. This is some stuff from William Downs seeds. I use it for carrots.
Oh, the Rime?
It's like Rime, but it's better.
Okay.
So this is Haskaps.
Hakurai? Yeah,
Yep.
turnips.
And
I didn't know they wanted warmth.
they want to know flea beetle larvae. Like
Okay, so this isn't for warmth, this is to protect them from bugs.
Also, both.
Okay. Freya, out you get. Careful.
Oh, look at them. They took the one with the glass and knocked the glass out.
I think it,
Different shapes, but look at how far advanced they are. The little cabbages are heading out.
that's quite something.
Yeah.
And is this to protect from the root maggot
This is
too?
from root maggots, and it's also heat.
Okay.
Then these are
Mac with
early-
Rowan, please.
early broccolis and different brassicas, but they're especially so they don't get shock when it's too cold.
Yeah.
But you also want to protect them from root maggots, and they say in the books you should take on the end of this, take a sheet of glass and put it there, and then put 2 sticks to hold it in. Impossible. It's always tipping over. It's not quite straight. So I came up with this idea. I like it. I put a piece of burlap over the end, and then so that it wouldn't blow off, I just took a piece of old tire chain
Yeah.
and cut it with my angle grinder and laid it over, and it works fine.
That's good because it still gets ventilation then too.
Yeah. Some of mine, I have something somewhere that doesn't get enough ventilation, like those things I have to lift off.
With the root maggot, what was it about planting something like later or earlier or what?
Usually later is better.
So later? So mine haven't gone in the ground yet.
Yeah, but usually if you, there's several generations, just
Yeah.
like almost all insects.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to say I didn't see any, knock on wood, but I didn't see any root maggots, but I did see lots of wireworms again this year.
So I was thinking about when I had root maggots last year and I treated them on June 28th because it was Marius' birthday.
Oh,
So you were 2 weeks before then when
and-
you
and
warned everybody that it was coming, and I was like, oh, I don't have it, and then it was a couple
You did
days
get it?
and then I did get it. It was Marius' birthday that I treated them.
And what did you use? I can't remember.
That one that's from chrysanthemums. It's that
Pyrethrum.
pyrethrum?
Pyrethrum.
Yeah.
There's pyrethrins, which are synthetically made,
Okay.
and they're not accepted organically.
Okay.
Pyrethrum is just the ground up dried leaves,
Yeah.
but they're contact. They have to hit the beastie.
Yeah, so it was a liquid though.
Then the liquid has to soak into
Yeah,
the
so
ground.
I put it in, mix it with water, and I went in the evening at dusk so all the pollinators were out, and I poured some at the base of every plant.
Yeah. I think I have a jar of that same stuff.
It's a little
put
yellow
water
bottle.
with a watering can right against the base of the plant first,
Yeah.
so that what I'm going to put on with the insecticide will go down, and
Yeah.
I hope it did. So
Yeah, it saved mine. I didn't.
they didn't die?
I only lost a couple more after that were already on their way out.
Okay. Anyway, those are just like cold frame boxes, but I don't like to use them because you have to open and shut them and flip them.
Yeah, they're higher maintenance. That's my thing with cold frames, is that opening and closing things doesn't always work for me.
And you forget one day and you get a frost and you lose them.
Or you forget one day and it's hot and you bake them.
But those little things, those little teepees, they are really saviors, right? Because sometimes you transplant plants in the middle of July,
Yeah.
and they gotta have shade.
What did you see, Freya?
We thought they'd be pigeons.
Are they ugly?
Yes.
They're not like this big.
Yeah, there are some that are older and there are some that are really young.
And they've had to put the new stuff on.
Yeah.
So I took all the old pieces, and all you do is what I just did, and then you probably want to cover the ends.
Yeah.
And I covered the end for beans. And I started them about June 15th last year, two tunnels full, and I got beans from both of them in that wet, cold summer.
Yeah, our summer was not good last
But I
year.
think you can grow them with them, and I have some sheets for you.
Okay.
Try.
Yeah, I kind of had earmarked my cold frame for bush beans because the peppers and such didn't work too well in there last year. It wasn't hot enough.
This is old, but your friends may want to know about it. There's a zucchini.
Okay, and do you cover it or is it just...
I will cover this because we get such weird frosts.
Set that up earlier.
Yeah, because that's pretty early to have a zucchini out.
People in town do it. It's in Telkwa.
Yeah.
But usually I put one tire on and cover it, then I put the other tire. But we didn't have clothes out here. We also fill the tires with water,
Oh, okay.
which is more and more heat absorbent.
Mm-hmm.
And when I grew cabbages, early Jersey, Wakefield or something like that, Tiara, in tires, I had them on June 22nd, and I have the photos fully headed up. Last year was June 29th.
That's pretty impressive. That's early.
I had a cover. And
Yeah.
I start them early.
So what do you use for a cover?
I usually use those old storm windows like those.
Okay.
And gradually I'm breaking all the glass when I move them, so I cover them with plastic.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, but even 1 year I grew cucumbers in them. But we just planted seeds. They sprouted in the, covered with.
So you direct seed them too. It wasn't even.
I did. And they started to grow, but they had a cover and the black thing. So I probably planted them in late May, and then I just kept adding. Pretty soon I had tires up to here, so their feet were always hot.
So even if I didn't plan to cover it, but I just was planting them out after the last frost, would it still be beneficial to put a tire for extra heat?
Yeah.
I bet you my
thing is,
in-laws
you
have old
gotta
tires.
have more- Huh?
I bet you my in-laws have old tires.
But if the ground isn't warm, cucumbers are going to die.
Yeah.
And then this is modeled on Dave Havard's, that book, Gardening Between Frosts.
I don't. I've heard of it, but I've never read it.
That was the book
Okay.
here, and he would take fence posts. He had them from the farm.
Yeah.
Have plywood on the back, and they like this, but about this high, and then he would roll down plastic, roll it up and down. That's how he grew his beans and stuff back when nobody could do it, because nobody had good enough greenhouses.
Mhm.
But he called them temporary growing shelters. We just put this in here. I made it just to try it out. Betsy grows bush beans and that. And it's a little nicer. I don't have to bend down too far, but you still have to get the soil ready.
Yeah.
But
So have you planted anything in there yet?
no, there were 3 tulips that I had for early bloom, so
Okay.
they got weedy. I made this box to fit the window.
Okay.
I'll describe it. So now I have to, this one is not fancy, but I don't, it's heavy enough, the wind won't blow it off, and I don't have to flip it over.
So they're they're still kind of recovering from being planted.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
And this one I made here on this plastic. what they call this, a gambrel roof. And the soil just isn't really right. But I had to get them out of the greenhouse. And this stuff is all there because people want to tell the story. It's thermal mass, whatever. So I haven't tried any of this.
And what will go in here?
Buckwheat. Maybe some of that forage mix. I have some sweet corn. I might grow for the cows. But I have some sweet corn up there I planted just to see. About once every 10 years.
Yeah. So you have the tires even in your greenhouse?
That's so I could put them out in April.
Oh.
Last week of April. I wanted...
Are those ones you started from seed?
Yeah, in the house. And I wanted them to be blossoming mid-May, so I'm pretty close.
Yeah.
So I'd have some in July. You don't have to do that though. The guy from TNT Seeds who works with them, an old guy, they sell this fancy plastic. I don't know what his name is, but they're really cool people. They have a monstrous big greenhouse against the wall of a shed. But it's just a greenhouse with their fancy quilted plastic. But they have all barrels painted black filled with water.
Yeah.
But they don't, I shouldn't say that. Not everyone's filled with water. Probably half of them are filled with soil. And then they grow tomatoes in the prairies and just incredible crops because they have the heat. This greenhouse is too small.
Mine's the same length, only a little bit wider.
Well, when he builds you a high hoop house or something, it's got to be way bigger so you get circulation and so you don't have extremes of temperature.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Dad.
Yes, sir.
Those boards that we like to play on?
Yeah.
By the books? I was gonna reaper snip them. All this stuff on here.
So did you have plastic sheets over it this year?
No, this year what I did instead, I started real early. And then I have these frames which fit always over a flat.
Yeah.
So I put plants in the greenhouse. I have shelves and I just took them down, temporary shelves. And then at night I can put this over the top.
Okay.
Yeah,
so these are all growing like this just with no help? Or did they have a cover?
That's the help.
Did the spinach have that too?
Yeah, for about a week.
Okay.
The radishes over there, which are ready now, did. Like, usually until I'm sure they're up and they're okay. But this is early broccoli, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get bugs in them, or maggots in them. But these were coming up, and this one, I like this. You have an empty frame and another one at the top, so you can get it higher and higher.
Yeah.
But
I can't believe how far ahead your strawberries are, too.
These three, though, were under those do you know those cones?
Yeah.
Made of waxed paper.
No, I don't know that.
And they work good until the plant starts to pick themselves. That's what they're called. These things.
Okay.
And you get a whole stack of them. You put them
From
down,
where?
Put some soil on the edges, and it's like each plant has a miniature greenhouse, and this is not biodegradable.
Did you make those or buy them?
I bought it.
I've never seen those before.
They call them hot caps.
Hot caps.
Yeah, oh, here. There you go.
Okay. Huh. I've never seen
You wouldn't
those.
want to put 75 plants on. Then you get that good remake from William Dobbs, and you make however long you want it. You
Yeah.
stick these in the soft soil. Put the remake on.
Yeah.
Anchor the edges. I use the rebar and to hold it down so the wind doesn't blow it. And in the end, you just turn it down and wait it, and it keeps all the rust flies out.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it for the rust fly? Oh, okay.
It does both.
So my plan, I know a lot of people do it without even any supports, just once the carrots get sturdy enough, they kind of
push it up.
Push it up.
Yeah, I've never had success with that.
You haven't had success with that?
People do. But I've tried it with the remake. Remake itself is not as good as this. You got to get the really good stuff. It costs $29 for 100 feet or something.
Yeah.
But I'm on my 4th year. Anyway, okay.
I had someone call me this morning looking for the landscape cloth that we use, that we burn holes in, because it's sold out everywhere, and she couldn't get it anywhere.
That's because people watch your show. They say it's the savior of people with many children and bad backs.
It definitely, it's more upfront work to plant that way, but it helps me not overwhelm with weeds.
Okay. This way. No idea. Go this time.
I might.
There. Nope. Now you gotta go to this one. Okay, fun. Anyway, Nelly Reaper and Chuck. The other thing for your greenhouse, this is that wire that you put on like a semi-flat roof to keep from getting an ice dam.
Okay.
If you have a shingled roof.
Okay.
Obviously, if you have sheet stuff. Anyway, you see it all over in places where they have two corners come together, and it's electric wire. When I take it down from this roof, I put it in the greenhouse on the floor, weave it back and forth,
Okay.
and that means I'm getting bottom heat.
And is it not bad on your hydro bill?
Hardly notice it. It's on all winter.
Yeah.
It hardly touches anything.
Because most heat things are pretty bad on your...
This is no, otherwise I couldn't have done it.
They locked you in here? We gotta bring this back, Rowan.